Onto the Denver Broncos. Best case scenario for the Broncos, I'm thinking, is a fringe playoff team. So for the best case scenario, obviously, Sean Payton comes in, gets the guys rolling. You know, that's what I think's going to happen. Hit the ground running. The offense gets clicking with the new trenches. Brought in Ben Powers, Mike McGlinchey. Russ gets back to cooking. And again, back to the trenches. Those defensive trenches are very solid as well. Love the Broncos D-back group. Fringe playoff team is definitely not a stretch for the Broncos. And then worst case scenario, I'm thinking is a top 10 pick. With Sean Payton coming in, I'm just telling you, even from experience, Saints fan here, the Broncos could play so, I'm trying to think how to word this. The Broncos could have another, per se, poor season, and it's just not going to be what it was last year. When the Saints had, Drew was injured for like 7 games of the year. We're bringing in all these different starters, Teddy B, rotating all these guys. Sean was still making it work. We were still pulling out close games. When the offense would get worse, the defense would get better. When the defense would play worse, the offense would play better. Sean Payton's just that type of guy. He's going to put this team in situations where they're going to be able to play, even if they're not going to win the game, a close game, and even sometimes games they shouldn't be in, keeping them in where they pull it out in a weird way. That's the Sean Payton effect. I think he's going to bring that to the Broncos. Broncos fans, you should be cheesing. But again, worst comes to worst. Russ doesn't cook. Offense underperforms again. Defense has the injury bug. There's no doubt that the floor for the Broncos could be picked in the top 10. Onto the Las Vegas Raiders. So for the best case scenario Raiders, I'm thinking early playoff exit. Look, like we've been saying, we know this offense is going to put up points. A lot of good names on the offense. Them being an early round playoff exit team is going to come down to their young defenders making a leap. If Trevon Moehrig, Marcus Epps, Divine Diablo, Jerry Tillery, and David Long can all make big jumps this year, the Raiders defense could be really a solid unit. I can totally see them being an early round exit playoff team. Worst case scenario for the Raiders is easily being a top 10 pick. Let's say Jimmy G comes in, just does not play up to standard, plays very poorly. The year off rubs him the wrong way. And on top of that, the defense just shits the bed. Can we put it like this? If those young defenders don't make a jump, the defense is very poor, just like has been. And if that's the case with Jimmy G playing poorly, it's recipe for a top 10 pick. Onto the Los Angeles Chargers. Best case scenario for the Chargers, I'm thinking Super Bowl contenders. Look, overall, the Chargers got a good defensive unit. Not only that, you got Justin Herbert. Brandon Staley, not sure how you feel about him. Certain things on the team, shaky. That's the point too, I want to make clear. Chargers, of all the Super Bowl contenders I have, might be the least complete. But you know they got Justin Herbert. And the QB moves the needle a lot. Justin Herbert's the kind of guy where even when his team's playing poorly, he plays an elite day, can find a way to win you the game 38-35, 41-38. So the point is, he holds you in the games, even when you shouldn't be. When you got a guy like that with the offensive core they have as well, a lot of good names on the offense. You added Quentin Johnson this offseason, who I think is going to have a great career over there. There's no doubt. Best case scenario, Chargers making a Super Bowl run. Now, worst case scenario would be to go about 500. Let's say this defense continues to regress. The big names on the defense don't play very well. Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, JC Jackson has another rough year again. And let's say Herbert gets hurt again for a fair period of time or a long period of time. Chargers could definitely find themselves falling into that 500 range. To finish out, we got the Kansas City Chiefs. I wonder what I'm going to do for the Chiefs. We know the Chiefs, Super Bowl contenders, man. The Chiefs are stacked on both sides of the ball. Oh, you want me to list the star power for the Chiefs like I did for the Eagles? L'Jarius Sneed, Justin Reed, Nick Bolton, Chris Jones, Kadarius Toney, Travis Kelce, Creed Humphrey, Joe Tooney. Oh, how could I forget the legendary Patrick Mahomes? You combine all that star power with Andy Reid, you already know, won the Super Bowl last year. They're going to be competing for the Super Bowl again this upcoming year. But let's say somehow the worst case scenario would happen, which is falling to 500. Obviously, something would have to happen to Pat. Not only that, if this defense regressed again and just played incredibly poorly, and I'm talking so poor that it would have to be in basically the same thing as like circa 2013 New Orleans Saints with Drew Brees. And I just don't see that happening. It's pretty hard to get to a level of playing that poorly on defense. That is the worst case scenario by far.